Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. It is a beautiful day outside. I know that because Heather and I went and took a drive and got our dogs puppuccinos. And so I got a little something for you today. I remember at each graduation, whether I was a part of it or whether I was attending it, at the end of each graduation, there'd be, in a sense, this call or commission given to the graduates. And I remember they would say, you've now completed your education, you've now completed this segment, and now here is what you are to go and do with it. And it made me think of Matthew 28. So Jesus has been with the disciples for 3 years, his death, his resurrection. In some of the books, you hear the story of Peter being called back into, and God, Jesus forgiving Peter and calling him to lead his church. And then at the very end is where they're all standing up on the mountain, and it says this: Then the 11 disciples went to Galilee, to the mountain where Jesus had told them to go. And when they saw him, they worshipped him, but some doubted. Then Jesus came to them and said, All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. And therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I've commanded you. And surely I am with you always, even to the end of the age. And so here, God has obviously God has met the people there. Jesus is on the mountain. Some begin to worship him, and then he says, "All authority has been given to me. The Father has now given me all authority, and so now here's what I call you to do." And he gives him this commission, this call, and we know this verse well, as that many of us have read this passage, we've heard it preached. But I think even in this season, it's a great reminder, how Jesus commissioned his church. And to me, what's exciting is this hasn't stopped. Just because we haven't been in a building, we continue to invite people to watch church online. We continue to share our stories. We continue to share our faith. More people are seeing opportunities to watch church online than has ever been available. Over the weekend, I remember seeing one of our local stations broadcasting an Easter service, which I've never seen a local station do that. I've seen a couple of national ones do it, but I thought, man, how is this not amazing that all over the country this is happening? And so the work of the church continues. And so Jesus commissioned it. And in that, he gives us our mission. Go to all nations, make disciples. And so it's not just evangelism, it's also creating the church. It's discipling the people, leading them to Jesus, and creating the church. And so he gives us this direction. In that, we begin to come together. And when you read in Acts, one of the things that sticks out to me in Acts is not only does he give us his Holy Spirit, but he builds this community. And community has always been a very essential part of what makes the church powerful. And I think that's become more evident than ever in this time, is the power and then the necessity of community in the church. And so we just see that becomes very important. And so, it becomes important that we stay connected with one another. We stay connected to our mission. We stay connected to the community that we are a part of. And whether you're watching this and you're part of our church family, or whether you're part of another church family, that community is very necessary and important. And we all make an effort to stay connected. It's not just on one person. And then, of course, he reminds us at the end, and I think it's such a powerful promise, is this. He goes, "In all of this, I've commanded you, teach them to obey, teach them what I've commanded you to do. Show them all of this." But then he goes and he says this. He says, "Surely I'm with you always, even to the end of the age." And so it's just this reminder again that he is present. He is with us. He doesn't leave us. He goes, it reminds us of other passages where it says he doesn't forsake us. And so this passage is powerful, I think, for many reasons. Number one, the one that so often is quoted, which is the commissioning of the church and giving us the mission of what we're called to do. But it's also just a reminder of, in doing this, we build this community of believers that, if done right, it becomes very strong in the midst of adversity. The strength of the early church in the midst of persecution, in the midst of great suffering, in the midst of great difficulty, was the community that was built because the church was doing the work of the Great Commission. And the community that was developed was powerful. And you look throughout other passages and you look at the study of the early church, they said the thing that held the church together and built on the community was how they loved one another, how they help meet each other's needs, and how they took care of one another. And then he reminds us he's with us in the midst of all that. He goes, and again, he's surely I'm with you always. He reminds us that he is not leaving us, he has not left us, and he is with us. And so it's just a powerful promise I want to remind you of. Toffee is barking in the background. She's excited to get rid of us at some point. But I just pray a blessing over you today, you guys. Have a great day. I hope that encourages you, and I will talk to you guys again tomorrow. Bye.